I remember what it was. It was really just as unintelligent as the first joke, but hold on a second, because this actually really happened to me. Let me just finish doing this here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Nasty gloves. Alright, so you ready for this one? Alright. It's hot in this house. So, y'all know how I used to be an actor in Hollywood and blah, 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 in my teens, or on my way to being one. And then basically I realized how evil and corrupt the business is, and so I lit on out of there to pursue the Lord, right? Well, story that just popped in my mind, I don't know why, but as I was doing, changing my client's sheets just now, and this is how stupid I am and how I couldn't care less, really, about all the stuff that most people in the industry cared about. Have y'all grown up? Why am I talking in a southern accent? Because I was just listening to that stupid country thing upstairs. That's why. Anyway, did you all ever watch the Brady Bunch growing up? Okay, so in the Brady Bunch, there's a woman who plays the mother, and it's played by I think her name was Florence Henderson, right? And so anyway, I'm in the Screen Actors Guild main headquarters in New York City, in Manhattan, for this event that we were all invited to. And so I'm sitting in there with a bunch of familiar celebrity faces, whatever, but darned if I know their name, because I could care less. And they probably didn't know who I was either, because I wasn't on their level. And so, this is funny. So, I'm sitting down, and we're all just sitting in this waiting room for this talk or whatever, this industry talk, something about, I don't know, some kind of acting thing or lessons or whatever it was that my agent sent me to or whatever. One of the perks to being in the Screen Actors Guild. So I'm sitting down, and I'm right next to this woman, this older woman, much older, elderly lady, and I turn around, I'm like, you know who you look like? And she goes, who, honey? And I'm like, that lady who played the mother in the Brady Bunch, Florence Henderson or whatever. And she's like, honey, I am Florence Henderson. That was me. Don't you watch TV? And I'm like, I just told you I watch TV. But I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you were dead. She goes, I'm not that old. Now, I think she's dead now. But she was not happy, and she just kind of like, and just didn't look at me the rest of the afternoon. Some of these people, get really, really offended when you don't know who they are. I swear this place is haunted. Because there's all these things moving and clicking and making noise and nobody else is in here. Whatever. So anyway, creepy house. So anyway, this woman was not upset, but it was the lady from the Brady Bunch. I just figured that the Brady Bunch was so old that she had to have been passed on by now, and I never thought I'd be sitting next to her. That was just like the time that I went to see Wicked, and me and my friend had won tickets to one of the opening nights of Wicked in Manhattan. Since we were there, we decided to do the lottery. They have like a lottery where you can win tickets. And we won, and we sat in the director's row. So I didn't realize what a big deal that was. Third row up from the stage. And who's sitting next to me? Eating Twizzlers. I'm rubbing elbows with no other than Goldie Hawn. And next to her is John Lithgow and Harry Hamlin and, oh gosh, what's her name? Mel Brooks and his wife Anne Bancroft. And everybody. So, when the show ends, right before the lights turn on, they all take off. All the celebrities in the place. They come in after the lights go off, take their places so people won't know who it is, and then they take off again before the lights come back on, and everybody sees that all the celebrities are there, right? Well, I just took off with them and followed them. My friend didn't have the courage to do it, so he stayed behind, and he's like, you're crazy. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to go meet Idina Menzel in her dressing room, because I heard them. That's where they were going after the show. So I just ran with them, and security tried to stop me. And I'm like, no, I'm with them. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. And I kept going. So we go and we get escorted to the back to Idina Menzel's dressing room. And there she is in her bathrobe, wiping off her green face paint. And she pulled out Elphaba. And I'm standing there and I'm hanging, talking to Goldie Hawn and shooting the breeze and this and that. All of a sudden, who has to rain on my parade? And I really lost all respect for this man. Everybody else was cool with me being there. I had my headshots and resume with me anyway. I was probably doing some kind of modeling gig or acting gig or whatever down there anyway, which is probably why I was down there. And I saw my Screen Actors Guild card. I'm like, guys, I'm one of you. I'm with you, whatever, right? But I wasn't with their party. So Mel Brooks, I was talking to Anne Bancroft, and I didn't even know who Anne Bancroft was at the time. She came up to me and was talking to me. And all of a sudden, Mel Brooks, who I remember him from the movie Life Stinks. It's a real stupid movie about a rich guy who becomes a bum on a bet and tries to survive 30 days or whatever with nothing on the streets, and then, almost loses his fortune and whatever. So that's how I knew him from, and he used to, when I was growing up, and I thought highly of this guy. He's a funny guy, A lot of times, I got to tell you, as somebody who knows from experience, very few celebrities that I've ever met in person and worked with personally, and I've met and worked with a lot of them, are actually as nice and loving and awesome as they are on screen, hence acting. Most of them are the most ungodly, selfish, nasty people you'd ever meet. I got names. Like Terrence Howard, for example. I always loved the guy in his films. He always plays a nice, meek, oh, what a jerk, God forgive me, on set, okay? I'm not even going to get into ripping the guy apart again, but I've talked about my stories. And, the people I will tell you I speak highly of to this day, Kathy Bates was nice. Dustin Hoffman was very nice to me. Eddie Izzard was, Kate Winslet, awesome. And let me tell you, the camera adds weight to everybody, but to her, she always looks a little bit more puffy and voluptuous, but she was really skinny in real life in the movie that I did with her and Leonardo DiCaprio called Revolutionary Road back in, I think, 2007. And when I saw her, she was pencil thin and absolutely stunning, gorgeous. And I did a double take because I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, Kate Winslet. And she was like beautiful blonde, and she was stunningly, amazingly gorgeous in real life. And Leonardo DiCaprio, extremely pencil thin, like really tall and really spaghetti thin. He could literally stand behind a pole, lamp pole, or a telephone pole, and you would not see him. And he was not a nice person in real life, and I was very disappointed. He got mad that I took his photo. He didn't want us around when he was filming. Everybody had to leave the set unless you were absolutely necessary. Nobody could look at him. Nobody could talk to him all kinds of whatever, mental quirks and whatever. Some people were very hard to work with, and the fame gets to their head. But anyway, Florence Henderson was very nice, even though the lady who played, I hope I got her name right, actually, but from, the mother from, that stupid show, the Brady Bunch. It was dumb. But anyway, I didn't want to tell her that. Or did I tell her that? I think I might have actually told her that. I have a mouth that just, I just speak the truth, how I feel, and I have no censor, and that gets me in trouble. But, I sometimes it's kind of funny to see a celebrity when they're like, oh, how did I do? And how did you like my show? I'm like, actually, it was kind of stupid. How dare you? What? Well, it was a highest rating show on TV. Well, it's still stupid. That just goes to show what the population's mentality is. They watch your garbage. But anyway, moving right along. Leonardo DiCaprio, Terrence Howard, I can wring his neck. Channing Tatum, by far the nicest, most down-to-earth guy I've ever worked with personally. We actually became friends. And Kate Winslet, amazing, amazing person to work with. So some of these people are genuinely really nice in person as they are on set. But when you're working with them, some of them are really lovable, and they win all kinds of Oscars and this and that. But in their real life, the most evil, miserable, satanic people you'd ever want to meet. You don't ever want to meet them or work with them, and they just bring the whole morale down on set. So anyway, I don't know why I'm bringing this up. memories that have been really going through my mind and coming to the forefront lately, of my past. And last night I was so exhausted. I went to bed early. That didn't last long. I had nightmare after nightmare and perverted dream after perverted dream. And of course, I'll tell you why. Divine Mercy Sunday fulfilled all the obligations, made sure I left no stone unturned. So that means for us Catholics that if you do everything Jesus promises, every single sin you've ever committed is erased off your record from the moment you were born to that very moment. So you have a white robe and clean slate, so much so that if you were to die that day, right after, you go right up. No purgatory, no nothing. But Satan always attacks me fiercely the next day. And boy, did he. He started a fight. We weren't at a mass 5 minutes, and I had to go talk to the choir master and the choir director, and Donna she said she went to go use the bathroom. Next thing you know, I see her outside with a bunch of her older friends, at church, old ladies. And what do old ladies like to do? A bunch of cackling hens, gossip, whatever, right? And they just came out of church. And so what do I find out? And it really got me enraged, but I was amazed that I had the grace to literally keep my mouth shut for the most part this time. So that was God, because I was in a real good mood after we had a great conversation with the choir director and the priest. And then I go to collect Donna to pick her up, and say, okay, let's go. And I hear the old lady saying, I am very sorry. And they gave me this dirty look and wouldn't talk to me. And I'm like, okay, what's up with that? What did I just hear? And she goes, well, I was telling him how, these shoes hurt my feet, because I bought her these nice pair of loafers so she can look like a woman when she goes to church with her skirts and dresses and, like all the other old ladies. She has her pearl necklace. She looks nice on Sunday now. She would go there with sweatpants and just like food all over her clothes. Just like people thought she was a bum, hair stuck up. So I've been combing her hair and putting hair clips in it, and got her nice clothes that she picked out at the Goodwill, because it's hard to find her size. And I bought her some new shoes because she didn't want to spend the money on shoes. She said she didn't have any, so I got her a pair of flats, and I got a pair with these that the nuns wear, and they're like these little heels, black, but they look really good. Well, she doesn't like dressing up like a woman, and she doesn't like being uncomfortable. And I'm like, do you have any idea how painful my loafers are? My feet are killing me. They're actually numb, but I wear them to church for an hour or two, and then I go home and I put my sneakers on. It's a few hours you can deal with to look presentable for the Lord and for church. We don't have to look like trailer trash just because we live in a park. And we don't have to look like white trash that you came off the street, or as people have called us, gypsies. Okay? So, and I'm not all about vanity and stuff, but come on, look nice when you go to church, right? It's only an hour on Sunday. So anyway, she was complaining and saying, Steve makes me wear these and they hurt my feet. And I'm like, now why did you go and tell her that? Well, it is true, they do hurt my feet, and you did tell me to wear them. I'm like, I don't force you to wear them. Well, I feel like you want me to. I'm like, well, I would like you to, because I spent a lot of money on them. But Donna, if you really can't walk in them, but you told me how comfortable they were and how nice they feel, and that they're oddly your size. And in fact, your feet shrank, and so you had to put spacers in there and this and that. And now you're saying they're hurting. So, why do you play the victim and tell people that you're being abused and forced into stuff? Oh, and he made me wear this dress. You picked the dress out. I didn't make you wear nothing. You had it on, and before I came out, I was all getting dressed in my room. She came out, I said, oh, you look really nice. She picked out her own outfit and everything. But she complains all the time behind people's back. So what's the point of this? It really broke my heart and hurt my feelings, because this woman gets me thrown under the bus and in trouble with people. 2 weeks ago, we were at a church event, a dinner, St. Joseph's dinner or whatever, and I'm standing there talking to the priest or whatever, some woman who had just lost her husband, and he was a deacon and this and that. And this old woman I've never seen before, and I don't even know who she is, comes up to me and goes, you talk too much. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm not even talking. I'm standing here. This woman's talking to me for 30 minutes about her husband, and I'm consoling her. And second of all, who are you to tell me I talk to? I'm not even talking, and I don't even know who you are. And she goes, you better treat that woman better from now on. I'm like, who are you talking about? And she pointed to Donna, and I'm like, what's going on with Donna now? I do treat her like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? So me and Donna got in an argument that night. I said, Donna, what are you telling people every time I'm not around? Nothing that's not true. What's true? Why would that lady yell at me? She goes, oh, I don't know. She must have overheard me complaining about something. I'm like, stop complaining to people about the one person who literally saved your life, who does everything for you and takes care of you and drives you wherever and cleans you, and you know what? You're biting the hand that feeds you, and I'm really getting upset because why do you do that? You know, like, you got something to say it to me. You don't need to go and sit there and tell people, you just came into my church. I was born and raised in this church. You've only been here about a year since you've been baptized. Like, don't come into my turf and start slandering and gossiping. That's not Christian. That's not Catholic. You don't do that behind your own pseudo-son caretaker's back. Like, what are you doing? Why? She's like, well, what else am I going to talk about? I'm like, so whatever. So, long story short, Divine Mercy Sunday, we 5 minutes after Divine Mercy Sunday is over and Mass is over, and we completely have a clean record with the Lord, and I'm feeling good. And she's out there, so she starts a fight with me in the car, and I'm like, Donna, I am not going to fall for this time. I'm not letting Satan do this. I said, I don't know if you did everything you were supposed to and take this seriously, but I do. Now, right now, I'm good with the Lord. If I die right now, I go right up. Okay? And I am not going to let you bring me to anger again and start a fight with me and get me all upset and into gossip and slandering and swearing and upset. No, not today. And she pursued. And I said, why did you say that to those women about me making you wear that? Why do you lie? You need to go back to confession. 5 minutes out of Divine Mercy, all of your sins are absolved, and you go and get yourself all muddied up again. You couldn't last 5 minutes without lying, gossiping, and slandering and stabbing me in the back. And then getting me angry. I said, I'm done. I said what I had to say. I'm done. She kept trying. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm done. I wouldn't talk to her for like an hour after that. I said, just be quiet. I turned the radio on. I'm like, I'm not answering you. You're not going to steal my peace. And so I was very proud of myself, and thanks be to God for the grace he gave me to keep my mouth shut, because normally I would have been blowing a gasket, because this is what the devil does. He gets you, and he really does things that are low and hurtful. And right after Divine Mercy, right? And so I knew the attacks were going to be fierce. And so last night, Sunday night, all of a sudden, and forgive me, but I'm just being an adult here because we're all adults here, and this is important that Christians know about this stuff. A lot of people don't want to talk about this, but this is human beings being human, okay? This is life. Now, for a worldly person, you guys do all these things all the time, and it's okay to you. But to God, it is a sin. And so all of a sudden, after Divine Mercy, what happens as it always happens. But this time, I didn't let it happen to me. I was waiting for it to come, because I know the devil's plans now and his tactics. So what happens? All of a sudden, these perverted, pornographic images and thoughts and desires start flooding my mind. And I'm like, no, I am not going to feel guilty for this anymore. I've been begging God for a clean heart and a clean mind. I've been doing good. We just came out of Mass and out of confession and Divine Mercy Sunday. You are not muddying me up again. I know where you're going with this, Satan. Back off. And so he kept pursuing. Then at night, all these sexual, pornographic dreams. And I'm like trying to wake up. I'm like, get out of this. I know it's you, Satan. It's not coming from me. I don't want this. And I kept trying to wake myself up in the dream. And it's like you're in a dream and but you can't wake up. And all this sexual stuff's going on. I'm like, no, I am not going to buy it. This time you're going to make me wake up horny as heck and I'm going to fall into temptation. No. I am not. So as soon as I wake up, what do you think? My body's like, so you know what I did? I just got up and I grabbed my Bible and I started praising God and say, Jesus, help me. Jesus, help me. Finally, it went away. That's proof, guys and girls, that when you have this sexual temptation that just comes over you out of nowhere, you could be praying. There's no reason for it. You're not looking for it. You're not looking at porn. You're reading the Bible and all of a sudden you're horny as heck or all these porn. That's not from you. That's the devil. He's a pervert. He's disgusting. Burn in hell, Satan. And I'm sick of him. And so this is what he does. And if you don't catch it, you're going to start burning up with lust and you're going to do you know what, and then you're in trouble. And this is what he does. And he was laying it on thick all afternoon after church, trying to get me angry. Then I sprained my ankle in a stupid pothole that the dog dug while I was outside in that afternoon trying to fix his leash. And the F word came out of my mouth. So I'm like, 45 minutes out of church and I just said the F word. Darn. Like, where'd that come from? Now, that wasn't an intentional, but it hurts. And I almost, broke my ankle. It was a big hole I stepped in. So, you got to watch anger, you got to watch your mouth, and you got to watch the temptations. They're going to come. So then, okay, last night I went to bed and all these dreams, I kept waking up. And then I had nightmares and I was exhausted. I just wanted to get some sleep, right? I went to bed early around 9 o'clock so I can purposely get some sleep. And I had these nightmares. First of all, it was this nightmare, and I'm in these familiar houses from my friend's house in childhood, and it's really dark, and it's like you don't even need to see. It's just somebody was in the house, and me and these other people, I don't even know who they were, but they were friends in the dream, and we had to go trying to find where this murderer was in the house, because we're trapped in this house in the dark, and so we have to go from room to room, and just waiting to find this person before he finds us, right? So my heart's beating. It's like I'm in a horror movie. And I'm like, please wake up. I know this is a dream, and I don't like the dark. I'll admit, I'm afraid of the dark. And so being in a big house, knowing that somebody's in there, trapped in there with you, and they want to kill you, and you got to find them, and you're going through all these rooms. I'm like, okay, split up. I'll go in that way. And the rooms were so dark and so big, and there was like all these places someone could hide, the bathroom, the closet. I mean, I'm like, okay, so we get to this big room, and I'm like, okay, it goes like down and out, and there's like all these rooms off of the room, and I'm like, and my heart was racing because you just felt the evil and the danger and the fear, right? And then I wake up. So now I wake up and I'm terrified. I turn my lights on and I'm like, I can't sleep now. This dream really messed up my head. I just wanted to go to sleep. So I'm playing with my phone for a while. And then I go back to sleep and I get another dream, but this time. So we got impurity, okay, attacks. Then there was attacks by fear, attacks by rage and anger. Okay, so now I go to sleep and I have a dream about my family. And in the dream, my father was in the dream, even though he's dead. And I'm complaining to my father about my family and the terrible things they did to me. And how in the dream, they took some guy in off the street and gave him a place to stay. But he was like a worldly guy with like a police record and this and that. And I was furious with my family. I'm like, you kicked me out on the street and told me to go die, eat out of garbage pails, kill myself, go live under a bridge. And I didn't do anything wrong to deserve this, to be removed from the family. I was just a Christian. Why would you do that to a good person and Christian? Like, I'm not a drug addict or a loser or a criminal. And yet you did this to me. You ruined the last 3 years of my life. I have been struggling. I've been sick. I've been in and out of hospitals. I've been poor and in poverty. I've been homeless. I lost my vocation to the priesthood. Like, you have no idea what you caused me. And now you let this bum in off the street who's got a criminal record and take him in. And they're like, well, you're always telling us to do the Christian thing. And I'm like, then you should have taken me in. You all have like 4 bedrooms that are available in all your houses. There is no reason to kick your own son or brother out of the family and put him on the street to die. I said, and I was yelling at my stepmother in the dream, but it was weird because I couldn't see her face. Her hair she had this hairstyle where she was facing away and it was coming down like half of one of her eye. So I couldn't really look at her in the eyes. And she wouldn't look me in the eyes. She just sat there filing her nails. And I'm like, you hypocrite. I said, you knew you were signing my death certificate by throwing me sick onto the streets with no hope of getting a job or a home or money or being able to get my meds that I need. You know I have diseases that like thyroid and diabetes and stuff. You know I need my meds. There was no way I could get my nothing. I would have died on the street in the middle of February in cold winter during a pandemic, and you didn't care, and you let some stranger into the house and take him in and don't even charge him rent or anything. And so basically I was the rage. I was yelling and I woke up and like Donna even heard me talking to myself. I was yelling out of anger in this dream. So angry with her. And I woke myself up and I was actually yelling. I'm like, oops, I'm not in the dream anymore. And I'm like, and Donna's like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I was just yelling at my family. She's like, I hear that. And I'm like, bad dream. But I was enraged all morning. Like that dream just made me so angry. I couldn't go back to sleep. Then the whole afternoon got worse, okay? Donna's been having financial issues and bouncing her checking account, and my bank account went negative last week, and I had to borrow money from her, and we've just been really struggling financially to be able to make ends meet with all this inflation and everything now, and her daughter's been driving me crazy, extorting her mother, and her mother won't stop giving her money, and so we've been fighting over that, and So anyway, so then Donna's rushing out the house to an appointment, getting this ride from some organization, so she didn't have to bother me, because she's got appointments every single day of the week. Okay, and I can't do that and go to work and go to my own appointments and stuff. I just can't do it all. And so she's like, oh, by the way, you got to call these numbers because they're telling me I owe $1,400 on the fuel. And I'm like, I know, they just called my phone. What's going on? I thought we paid these bills. Did you not pay the bills? I told you, let me pay the bills if you don't know how to do it. She's like, well, I must have forgotten or it got lost in McDonough. Every month your accounts go in the negative. Every month the collectors are calling. Are you not telling me something? She's like, well, I just keep misbalancing the checkbook or something, and things keep bouncing and not getting paid, or the checks are illegible when I make them out, so they don't get where they need to go. And I'm like, you need to tell me. I'll write the checks. I'll make the phone calls. I will handle the bills. Well, I want to do it myself. I'm like, but you're messing it up every month, and I'm on that bank account, and they call me when it goes into negative and my paycheck gets eaten. Don't do that. Like, I'm trying to help you out. I know that you want to continue writing your own bills and doing everything and, being independent, but you really can't anymore, and you gotta let me do this because you're really messing up all the accounts. Like, we almost lost 5 months. Today, I was on the phone for over 2.5 hours with Foremost Home Insurance again for the 5th month in a row because they kept saying that Donna didn't pay them in time, and I had the proof because I had the bank statements and everything, and Donna's like, I can't get them to listen to me. They keep charging me $120 every month, and it's supposed to be $60, and I'm like, okay, so I was livid, and what a bad day on the phone. But I got it done, and I got them to prove. They kept trying to blame it on us and say that we owed them money and this and that. But every time they came up with a lie, I had the counter. I got so mad, I put the phone down, and I literally started praying to Jesus. The lady had me on hold for like 20 minutes, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm taking this to the Lord. I'm not playing with these people anymore. So I just started praying. I said, Lord Jesus, please forgive me. I don't mean to bother you for insignificant things, but these people are ripping us off. We've already double paid 2 or 3 months in a row. They keep telling us we owe more money, that we're always behind a month, but we have paid. We are ahead of the game now. We've paid the whole year already, according to our calculation. This isn't fair. Please help. Like, I don't know how to get through to these people. They're always, the customer's never right. I was like, and they're wrong. And they're rude. And so finally, she gets back on the phone. And, oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Let me look at something. She goes, you know what? You're right. I'm like, I know I'm right. I've been telling you that for 5 months. I'm the one who has to keep dealing with this. And you keep doing this to my elderly mother here who can't defend herself. And then you hang up on her and you say, you just tell her a bunch of nonsense. And then you go and send her cancellation notice again. Then I got to call and go through this. I'm tired. I was supposed to be at work at 2 o'clock today. It is now almost 5 o'clock. I am late. I can't even shower before work. I'm mad. Okay, and you guys were arguing when I had to go and get bank account records, statements, going back months, and circle the fact that the money did in fact come out of the account. I had to verify all this stuff. I had better records, or Donna did, than these people did at Foremost. Okay? They do these things, and they try to get away with it. So we still overpaid, and the money somehow lost in limbo somehow, at least between $64 to $120 lost forever. I said, you know what? I don't care. I'll pay it again. Just, you better bring this account current. I'm done. I am done. You've wrecked my whole afternoon. You've got me very angry. I'm sick of this. What's the moral of this? In this world, we will have troubles, trials, tribulations, okay? But for a Christian, way more than normal. If you don't think that Satan, who runs everything down here, will constantly find some way to destroy your peace, to get you into the sin of anger and wrath, to get you to swear, to get you to use the Lord's name in vain, to get you to fall into masturbation or impurity or adultery or pornography. He is relentless. All I can say is, I'm a child of the 80s. Okay, I'm 43 now. We used to have carnivals. That's when they had good carnivals with awesome rides, which are now illegal because some stupid person always ends up getting hurt and ruin it for everybody else. But we used to have awesome rides. Like, there used to be a ride I used to call the whipped cream can, spray can. You know those whipped cream cans with the pointed top, red top on them, and you push the nozzle and it sprays, right? It's like a pointy can with a red cap. Well, they used to have this silver tube. It was called a spaceship. And it was a silver tube. There was only one entrance in and out of this thing. And on the bottom was like these red lights. It was a silver tube, and it came to a point, and at the point was like a red, it looked like the cap to one of those, whipped cream spray cans, and it would light up red. And you go inside, and it was covered in black aqua turf. Like the kind of turf that you would green turf that you'd step on in like a golf course. But it was all black, and it was all surrounded. You sit in these seats, and then you watch a TV screen, like a big movie screen, and it goes either into outer space or underwater and fights like Godzilla or something. It was and it would like rock back and forth and go up and down. And well, apparently one day there was a fire and people got hurt because they were stuck in there. You can't get out. The entrance is in the back of the thing, and it's hard. It's pitch black in there, and so you're stuck in this tube. But anyway, it used to be fun. Well, anyway, the point is, what's my point? That was my favorite ride, and it's gone. It's been gone for a long time. But my point is I want to talk about a game called the Whack-A-Mole game. I'm talking like 90 miles an minute. This is what happens. My thyroid meds are all over causing like mania here. The Whack-A-Mole game. You got like 9 or 12 little gophers or moles with square heads. They pop up out of these holes, and you have this thing that's this big round thing with padding on it. Looks like a brush with padding on it. And you whack the moles down as they pop up. And as soon as you get 1 or 2 down, 5 more pop up. And you got to keep trying to whack them all and keep them all down. Then they all pop up, and you're like... And if you can keep... The more moles you hit and keep down, and they come out faster and faster with each round. So, sin and the temptations of the devil are like an old whack-a-mole game at a carnival. Every time you get one area nailed down, okay, bam, okay, I've overcome lust. Bam, I overcome smoking. Bam, I overcome alcoholism. Bam, I overcome foul language. 5 more sins or temptations pop up. And now you're like, boom, boom, boom. And then as soon as you get those down, the old habits come back. And, oh, smoking again. And, oh, masturbation. Boom. Oh, pornography. And it's like your whole life. You're going to sit there at this machine. Bam, 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 bam. Fighting off these little demons. These little demons of lust. These little demons of anger. These little demons of temptation. Of sodomy. Of masturbation. Of adultery. Whatever your issue is. And they just keep coming. And keep tempting. And every time you get 1 or 2 down, 5 more pop up. Pretty soon all 10 pop up. And that is it's a constant daily battle. And that's how I feel. Like every day I'm like bam, 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 bam. I'm waiting like what another one's gonna come any second. And it's really annoying. I mean, Satan doesn't eat or sleep. And he's got all eternity. He's got nothing better to do. Him and his trillions of demons. Trillions. Enough for each human being. Okay, there's an estimated or approximate 8 billion human beings on this planet. 8 billion. For each human, there's said to be 8 to 10 demons assigned to them. Demons of lust, sloth, laziness, pride, vanity, you name it. Okay? Each curtailed to know that person very well and to know their buttons and which buttons to push. So can you imagine how many demons that is when there's only 8 billion humans, and each one of those 8 billion humans, each one of those humans has about 8 to 10 demons working on them, assigned to their life, 24/7, their whole life. The odds of getting to heaven are pretty narrow. You can't do it without Jesus. Your life is going to be constant turmoil and trials, and if you're trying to follow the Lord. They won't bother you as much, or you won't notice that all the things you're doing are caused by them or sin. You won't even know what sin is. You're just going to be constantly living the life that you want to live. Oh, this is fun. Sleep with who I want, date with who I want, do drugs, try this, try that. Threesomes, pornography, whatever. Everybody does it. Go to the bar every week. You don't realize you're living in a hellbound life full of sin that's when you die, you're going straight to hell without Jesus. If you don't repent and stop living like that and doing those things. And, and a lot of these people don't believe in God or the devil, so therefore they don't realize that they're nothing but puppets on a string for these demons, and that's what makes them want to drink, and why they can't kick the habit, or want to smoke, or want to get angry and swear, or want to beat people up, or, be full of pride, or vanity, or immorality, or same-sex attraction, you name it. Everything known to man. These demons bring it to us. They bring the fight to us. They start junk at an early age. And they try to get children earlier and earlier into committing sins and abomination before God can get a hold of them and teach them the right way. So, you're not fighting, like the Bible says, you're not fighting against just the flesh. Okay? You're fighting against the flesh, the world, which means society, which is very sinful, constantly putting sin and temptation in your eyes and in your ears every day. Everywhere you look, there's naked people on billboards. It's sex, sex, sex on your phone, on TV, in the music you hear. Temptation, temptation, drugs, sex, materialism, whatever. The world, okay, legalizing all these evil things, pushing them on us, okay? And then you're fighting against the daddy of all evil, Satan himself, and his legions, trillions of demons. So every human is battling against their own flesh, which is carnal in nature, which is made from a sinful earth, which wants to naturally rebel against God. And then on top of that, you're not only battling yourself, that's like one mole to keep down in the whack-a-mole game. Once you conquer yourself, you also have to deal with society, the world, coming against you and hating you for breaking free from the slave system, from knowing the truth, and they come at you and hate you because you're a Christian, and they persecute you, and they try to tempt you and derail you. And then, if that don't work, which by then most people fail at just the flesh, the world really takes them out if the flesh doesn't, and then the devil and his demons will get a hold of you. So you're fighting the flesh, the world, and the devil. This is a threefold fight, and there's nothing you can do but cling to God and beg for His grace and protection. And the only way He's going to give you His grace is if you're living in a state of grace, which means holiness, which means living in obedience to His word and His commandments. If you do that, you will have God and His angels to help you in this fight, but you still got to pull your weight. God's not going to win the battle for you. You're still in the ring with Mike Tyson, and you have to keep getting up every time he knocks you down. As long as you keep getting up, the Lord will help you, and He'll be with you by your side, and He'll coach you, and every time you're back in the corner, He's fixing your bruises, and He's giving you more fresh living water, and He's encouraging you, say, go back in there, kid, come on, round 3, you got it, and He sends you back out into the fight. Okay? And you got to keep doing this until your life's over. And Jesus is in the ring, in the corner with you, and He's cheering you on, and He'll help you, and He'll sustain you, and encourage you, and build you up, and give you strength, and a second and third wind, but you got to do the fighting. You got to do your part. You have to want it. If you give up and say, uncle, and stay down, then you lose. If you don't get back up in time, you lose. And if you don't get back up, you don't win the crown of life. You end up in hell. Failure's not an option. You have to win. I don't care if you're in the ring with Mike Tyson or the devil himself. You must. Now, Jesus promises that as long as you're willing to keep getting up and you keep doing what He says, you will win. But you're gonna have to go through all 14 rounds or 12 rounds or whatever. 23, who knows? You might have to go to 100 rounds. So that's why it's called the Road to the Cross. I wasn't planning on making a religious video. See, I always get sucked into this, Lord. Anyway, somebody needs to hear this, and I always need to be reminded. So this is what we do. I'm sitting here waiting for the laundry to wash anyway, so I can put it in the dryer. My client's upstairs watching his TV and so loud that the neighbors can hear it. More stupid secular garbage. I can care less watching. So I just came down here and I decided to share those little jokes with you, and then all of a sudden the preacher in me came out, or the evangelist, or the Holy Spirit took over, And I just figured that I better tell you guys what the devil's been doing to me, and it's only been less than a day after Divine Mercy Sunday. He don't wait a second. He had me already, I've already got spots all over my freshly washed white gown that the Lord gave me on Sunday. It's already got like ketchup spattered all over it, and some mustard, and some mud. A little bit of foul language over here. It's a little bit of pornographic thoughts over here. Some, some wrath and anger over here. Man, I don't like one thing about me is, I don't like when I come out of Mass or I come out of Divine Mercy Sunday and I'm good with the Lord and I'm in holiness and righteousness and I got a clean slate and somebody immediately brings me into anger or gets me muddied up already. Or throws mud at my nice clean garments. Jesus said we must be spotless. And every time I get myself spotless, the devil comes around and throws a mud pie at me. And I'm tired of it. I can't wait till his butt is toasted in hell. Lord, please come soon. Please, I can't stand it anymore. This wicked world and these wicked people. You know what? I'm starting to, vengeance is God, says the Lord, but I'm starting to, and then something else that happened to me tonight. I was, a little bit earlier, this video popped up on my phone, and I started watching it. It was a bunch of kids in some young boarding school with two male priests. And it was Christmas Day, and these kids were all lined up like Nazi prisoners, and this priest was evil, and he was, in his cassock and everything, he had a baton, and he had these kids in their underwear, these two boys. They did something wrong or upset him, and he was making an example of the rest of them on their knees in the cement courtyard, and he's beating them to death like Jesus was scourged. Beating them and kicking them and punching them. I got so enraged. Oh man. I literally was like so angry that if I was ever there, like obviously it's just a movie, but I'm like, why did this pop up on my phone? Like I'm so mad right now. Priest or no priest, I'm like, Lord, if I was ever there, and I saw somebody beating a child like that, I don't care if it's the Pope. I think I would kill them. I would beat them so badly, I would probably end up killing them. I'm afraid of what I would do. I really am. I have an anger issue, and the devil knows it. I get so angry. Things used to get broken. My fist would find its way through drywall, doors, tables. When I was in the bar scene years ago, if you hit on someone I was with at the bar, and I told you once, they're with me. Hands off. I didn't tell you twice. I would throw the person across the bar. I'm not kidding you. I'm not trying to act like some, macho. I literally, people didn't see it coming because I was always kind of wimpy, shy, No, man, that was one thing that I don't like being bullied. And you know why this happened to me? Because my siblings bullied me and my stepmother bullied me all through my life. My family treated me terribly and threw me to the streets, okay? I'm still upset. I went to seminary and I was harshly bullied and threatened, and even my life threatened in seminary, okay? So I got a lot of wounds festering that I pray to God every day. Lord, I forgive them. I forgive them. Please, I forgive them. I don't want to feel angry anymore. I forgive them. I know you'll take vengeance. I don't need to. When they fall into your hands on Judgment Day, you're going to deal with them. I'm just going to let it go. I forgive them. I've tried therapists, whatever, but there's a anger in me that wrath, and it comes and I see red, and it takes a while usually to get it out of me. But one of the things that I know sparks it, all throughout school, from kindergarten to 12th grade, I was severely bullied, picked on, for no reason at all. And there were times where I had to fight, and I let the other kid win because I didn't want to hurt someone. I'd rather get beat up than have to feel the guilt of hurting another person. I don't like pain. I don't like suffering. I don't like inflicting it on people or animals or insects. I don't even like squashing a fly, okay? I'm that kind of person who just doesn't like suffering. There are evil people in there who like to bully and hurt people and cause pain. I am not that person. I'm the kind of person who fights for people like that, or who would rather take one for the team and die for somebody. I can't stand. I would take their place. I can't. I don't like it either, but I can't watch suffering, especially children being abused, beaten, raped. God no. I can't stand it. And it's because my whole life I was a victim. My whole life I was picked on and beat up and bullied, even by teachers. I could report, well, it's a little late now, but let me tell you, if I ever showed the evidence I used to have or reported some of these teachers to the police, or even told my father, who was a cop at the time, what they did to me and said to me in class or after school, my father would have been arrested, which is why I never did it. Because I didn't want my father, who was also an angry person when he had to be, to get himself jammed up over me. So I chose to keep a lot of things from my earthly father because I knew that he would defend me. And I didn't want him to lose his job. He had a very good job as a police officer, detective. He was well known and respected and feared. And I didn't want him to go and beat one of these teachers up or God knows, get in trouble, maybe even knock him out and kill him, who knows. So I just kept a lot to myself. Mr. DiNello, woodworking class, okay? Yeah, I'm exposing you now publicly at 43 years old. I hope you're probably dead by now or some old decrepit idiot in a wheelchair. But at the same time, I forgive you and I tell God all the time the terrible things that you did to me and what you said to me that last day of school when my father was in the parking lot. He would have come in and killed you had he ever saw what you did to me when I was leaving school that last day. You are so lucky I didn't tell my father. You could have been arrested. You would have been pummeled. And that's why I didn't tell. Because you're not worth my father going to jail for. And there's a lot of you people that I had to forgive over the years. And I ended up, the Lord showed me years later after I graduated, those bullies who used to pick on me, even the teachers, some of the things that these people did, why they take it out on other people. And it was not because I did anything to deserve it. It was because I didn't defend myself, or so they thought. They thought I was weak. I was meek. I wasn't weak. I just let a lot go. But the problem with that is sometimes, like, I would probably tell my kid, you're a Christian, but if anybody touches you, break their nose. That's what I would tell my kid now. Do not take their crap. Or you call me and I'll handle it. But I would never want my child bullied like I was in school. And I was always the one to pick people up off the floor when they were being hurt or bullied, when nobody wanted to be friends with them, when they didn't have lunch. Some of my bullies in school, these popular jerks, they didn't have lunch or lunch money. And I was starving and diabetic, pre-diabetic, and I would give them my food. Did I ever get a thank you from them? No. And then right after the bell rang, they go right back to bullying me in front of everybody. So even making peace with your enemies, it didn't matter. School was like prison for me for 12 years. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But when even the teachers are attacking you and doing terrible things to you and they get away with it, okay, that's really wrong. So anyway, I've realized that now the deep-seated anger that I have in my heart, that I've already forgiven people time and time again for, the devil uses, and he brings up these memories, and he gets me so angry again. So angry at these people. And I have to go back to church and forgive them again and say, Lord, I'm sorry, I forgave them. Why is this coming? I mean, I want these wounds healed. All these terrible things. Look, I've been raped. I've been beaten to a pulp. I've been robbed. I've had my car vandalized. I've had so many things happen to me in my life. Molested. There's things that my family doesn't even know. And things that they did too that were wrong. And I let a lot go for many, many years. It's always the quiet ones, the nice, meek, quiet, humble ones that, are the ones that are suffering probably the most. And we're the ones who don't want to hurt a fly because we know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be hungry, to be broke, to be homeless, to have your own family throw you to the street and tell you to kill yourself, to have people pick on you, to be the victim your whole life. So I realized in my teens and 20s, I said, you know what? I could either let this world make me a criminal make me angry and jaded, and I can let this fester like a pressure cooker until one day, God forbid, my rage comes out on someone and I end up in prison. Or I could run to Almighty God and I can give it to Him and I can ask Him for help me and I can become a better person. The world is either going to make you jaded and make you evil and godless and selfish and hard, cold-hearted just like they are, or you're going to become a good Christian from it. So you either make your pain your gain and become holy and self-control and be part of the solution instead of letting that pain make you join them and become no better than them. You don't want to become a bully yourself because you were picked on and bullied. And I found out after graduation, even on graduation day, these guys who gave me such a hard time for 12 years ended up telling me how they were molested and beaten at home. But drunk fathers, all kinds of terrible things were happening to them. So what did they do? They were weak. And so they sought who they can take it out on in school. That's how they managed. That's how they coped. Can't beat them, join them. So they went and took their sadness and aggression and pain out on me and anybody else they can get away with in school. Now, I had the common sense to kind of figure that out, which is why I didn't want to add to their pain and knock their teeth out. See, the thing is, and they found out the hard way in 12th grade, because I lost it in 12th grade. And anybody who was in Miss Clement's cooking class that day saw the true Steve that was hiding for 12 years under the surface. And I couldn't hold it in anymore. And because people would do some terrible things. Like, okay, they would take my book bag in woodshop class, dump my books in the garbage pail, or several garbage pails around the school, and fill it with dirt, wood chips, sawdust, nails, wood, and then hide my bag. And then by the time I found my bag, I was already late for class. I got suspended or detention. And then when I get to my locker to go get my books out and I dump my bag out, it's sawdust and nails in front of everybody and everybody's laughing at me. Or I would spend a lot of time putting my projects together, building my Adirondack chair or the furniture or whatever we had to do. And then the teacher would let the kids, he would tell them, I don't want him, he's got the best grade in the class, I want to fail him. So he would tell them to take it apart and bang it all up. And then the next day I'd come to class and Steve, you're behind everybody else. What are you doing? I'm giving you an F. And I'm like, you saw that this was finished yesterday. I was ahead of the class. I had the best project. While the other guys were screwing around, I was working diligently, minding my business. Why is it all banged up and taken apart? Are you accusing me of lying? I'm like, sir, you know that chair was finished and was not all banged up like that. I don't care. I'm failing you. You're the worst student in the class. And I'm like, it was so wrong. And he would let these guys beat me up and put varnish in my stuff and ruin my stuff. And then the last day of school, I had to go and pick up my chair and bring it home. My dad grabbed his pickup truck and he brought me back to the school. He picked me up from school so I could bring this chair home. And the teacher follows me into the hallway. And for no reason at all, he says, hey, DiNello, F you and go kill yourself, you faggot. And I'm like, and he was so lucky. I mean, I thank God today that I had a big, heavy Adirondack chair in my hands because I saw red and I wanted to kill that man. That man's head would have been all over that cement wall. So I turned around and I said, go F yourself, you piece of shit. And then I walked out and I turned around, I gave him the finger and I walked out and he just smiled and went back into his office. And my dad saw me red in the face and angry. He's like, what's the matter? I'm like, nothing. He's like, what's the matter? I'm like, Dad, if I tell you what happened, I know that you're going to get arrested today. He's like, well, then you better not tell me. I'm like, I know. So I didn't tell him until maybe weeks after, and he was like, you're darn right, you better not have told me, because I would have gone right in there, and I would have arrested that man myself, or I would have beaten the crap out of him. I'm like, I know that, Dad, that's why I didn't tell you. He's like, why do you let people do that? I'm like, Because if I hit him, I would have been arrested for assaulting a teacher. Nobody was around. It would have been his word against mine. I already have a bad reputation in the school for no reason, because the teachers didn't like me and the students didn't like me. So there was no winning. So that's just how it was in that good old boy town of North Branford. Pieces of garbage. So anyway, I'm just venting right now because, this is what happens at night. When I come out of Mass and I'm feeling good and I've forgiven everybody and I'm good with the Lord, and the devil will just put all this stuff back and open up all these old wounds, and I bawl my eyes out at night and I say I forgive them. How many times do I gotta forgive these same people for the things that they've done a long time ago? As many times as it takes. And today I just had it all. I yelled at the Lord. I said, Lord, when is my time to shine? My life has been miserable. I just wish you'd hurry up and come and destroy the wicked and bring me home. Like, I'm tired. I'm trying to fight for you. I'm trying to be good, Lord. I'm trying to be a saint in this world who hates us. I'm trying to do everything right. But my whole life, so many attempts on my life. I've been kidnapped 2 times, almost drowned 4 times, multiple suicide attempts, anaphylactic shock 3 times, near death a couple times under surgery, beaten to unconsciousness 3 times by groups of guys, raped a couple times, date raped drugs, molested, people, my family don't even know half the things. I always kept things in. I had therapists. And I had God, but I didn't tell people everything. I was too ashamed, and I just, nobody would have believed me half the time anyway, so I just kept forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and praying for them and forgiving. God will deal with these people one day. They're not going to get away with anything. None of us get away with anything. But anyway, so I saw that video tonight on my phone that popped up about, it was a clip of a movie and this priest, and I was so enraged that all of a sudden, and it's weird, my phone does this every once in a while, where I'll be watching something on Facebook and all of a sudden it just goes to my home screen and I lose it and I can't find it again. It just shuts off Facebook, and next thing you know, my phone's off, and it's like, okay. I was shaking when I was watching. I was so angry, and I was just envisioning that if I was there in real life, I would have beat up both those priests and those poor kids. I would have made those kids watch as I beat the crap out of those priests. And I know that would have been a terrible thing to do in God's eyes, because, vengeance is his, and those are still priests. Even though they're evil, they're still priests. But it also, it brought me back to all the times I was hurt and bullied as a child. And I am just sick and tired of being a doormat. And I am sick and tired of always having to turn the other cheek and let people think they get away with murder with me. And I can deal with it when it's done to me. But when I see an innocent child or woman or elderly person, anybody who's weak or helpless, even an animal, being hurt and abused by some piece of garbage person, with some immoral, godless person with abusive power, I don't care if they're taking out on someone else what happened to them in their life. There's no excuse for it. You don't see me going around beating people up or raping people or molesting people or hurting people or slapping women around or any of that. Drinking myself to death, doing drugs, getting arrested. No. I could do that. I could get angry just like the rest of you. I can self-sabotage. I could be weak and pathetic like you. But you know why I don't? I'll tell you why I don't. Because if I do, Satan wins. Satan gets my soul. He's now used what was meant to kill me will destroy me. He's made me no different than you. He's made me no different than a criminal-minded, godless person if I act on my feelings, if I let people get me to that point. So I follow Christ, and I grit my teeth, and I have cracked so many teeth by trying to grit my teeth. I grind them at night, and I say, vengeance is yours, Lord. You see this, right? You see this, Lord. I know you see it. Okay, I'll wait. I'm going to wait, because when they fall into, let me tell you, it is a terrible thing to fall into the hands of our God. A terrible thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. Satan got nothing on God. You wait till our Heavenly Father comes back and puts you people in your place. You laugh at us Christians now. You think we're so weak and pathetic and stupid and don't defend ourselves. No, we're waiting. Like Jesus, he could have destroyed you all that day instead of going to the cross. But he just said nothing. He just let you make a bloody mess out of him because he knew that in the end, he was going to be throwing you people into hell for all eternity. So he has the last laugh. So he didn't care about the whips and the lashes because he knew it was all worth it. Because when he comes back in this second coming, and he's coming, he is coming with a sword. And all of his enemies are going to be in serious trouble for all eternity. You have no idea. You'll wish it was as easy as getting away with a crucifixion or a flogging or a beating. Oh, no. You're going to burn and be torn apart by demons 24/7 for all eternity if you don't repent. And a lot of you won't repent. So I will wait until the Lord deals with you, and he will. But in the meantime, I pray to God that I'm never put in a situation where I have to defend someone who's being picked on or harmed, because I don't know if I will be able to keep my fist from going all the way and killing you. I hope not. I really hope not. But that rage takes over because all of that suppressed pain and hurt and abuse over many, many years of life, it's still there deep inside. And if I wasn't a Christian, it would have already destroyed me. I'm telling you, if I did not turn to God in time, I would have self-sabotaged, drugs, alcohol, maybe suicide. Who knows what I would have done? Because it gets to a point where you can't carry that weight anymore. You need God. If you don't have God carrying the weight of that cross, you're going to snap. That is why a lot of you can't get out of your addictions and your drugs and your cycles of in and out of prison and your abuse and you take your bullies and you're taking out stuff that happened to you on other people. Some of you are just evil. You're just evil. You're just godless. And you like to prey on the weak, the elderly, the sick, women, children. You're disgusting. Well, there's a place in hell for people like you. You think you're getting away with something? You are not. You are not. So I'm telling you, whoever watches this, if you're doing something like that, you better stop. You abuse your wife or husband or child, you better stop. Because if God doesn't deal with you, he'll send someone like me and we will deal with you. So I'm not trying to be all Rambo tough. I'm just telling you. I pray to God I don't come across a situation where I see an innocent child being beaten or raped or something or kidnapped. Because I got the fires of hell in burning inside me, waiting to be unleashed on someone. And I'm just telling you, I do not like sin and injustice. I hate bullies. Hate bullies. And if I ever have a kid and he's being picked on, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to teach him how to fight. And I'm going to say, listen, break their nose. Or, you know what? Wait until you get them alone. Get off the bus stop at their stop. Give me a call first. Let me know. I'll pick you up when it's done. But you get off at their bus stop. And when they're all alone. And you approach that bully because he won't be so big and bad when he's by himself. And you do what you got to do. I'll be there to back you up. Or he's just going to continue. You better make them fear you. Or you could take the peaceful route, which I really recommend, and you better start being a Christian at a very young age before you start going into public schools or even private schools now. In fact, I think I'll homeschool my kids because I don't want them to go through the hell that I went through. The students alone were horrible demons, but the faculty, evil to the core, hated kids, hated their job, hated the parents. And I know this because not only was I a victim of them in North Branford school system, including the principal and his wife, Miss O'Hare, okay, and many names I can give, Miss Clements. However, I won't let my kids be subjected to the school system like that. They're going to learn. They're not going to have some drag queen reading perversion to them in kindergarten. They're not going to be taught about transgender and anal sex in school. They don't need to learn that crap. They're not going to go to a school like that. The first thing they're going to read, I'll teach them the alphabet. They're going to learn how to read the Bible. That's it. I'm going to raise my kids up holy. They will not have a TV or video games. I didn't play with them much. I had all that stuff, but I didn't really use it that much. I wasn't into toys and stuff growing up, or I had everything I could ever want. I had too much, but I didn't even use it. Most of it got wasted. I just was an odd kid. I couldn't care less about all that stuff that other kids lived for. I didn't play games and dolls and board games, all that stupid stuff. It was a waste of time. I actually went hiking. I went to the woods. I helped animals that were hurt and kicked out of the nest. I raised them. I collected tadpoles and turtles, and I bred them, and I put them back out in the wild. I went fishing. I taught myself how to ice skate, and I fell through the ice a couple times by myself, but my guardian angel got me out. I went swimming, taught myself how to swim. That was when I grew up playing in the woods till 2 a.m. You know? I was a real country boy. I could care less about sports. Oh, I hated sports. And one of the reasons I hated it is because my dad kept pushing it on me. And I didn't like it. I couldn't stand it. And because I hated it because the football team and all the sports jerks in school were the ones picking on me a lot of the time. So it just turned me off to sports in general because they were all a bunch of jerks. And the school let them get by with failing grades just because they were the stars of the football team. And, people like me would be doing their homework for them. Okay? So, wrong. I hate injustice. I hate evil. I hate the devil. I hate sin. I hate injustice. I hate bullies. I hate tyrannical people like our governments. I can't stand evil. That is why I started following Jesus at a young age, because Jesus was considered a rebel and a radical. Yeah, but you know what? Everything he preached makes sense. And he wasn't weak. He had the power of God. With one word out of his mouth, he could have destroyed the entire planet. He had the power of the universe in his hands and never was a show-off. He always remained meek and humble, even though, you want to know what makes a good, meek, humble person? Knowing. It's like a black belt or a ninja who knows that the fight's already won. They can destroy you if they wanted to, but they choose not to. Knowing what they're capable of is enough. So they can walk away and be like, okay, catch you later. You're not worth my fight or going to jail. Because I know that if I have to get started, you're not coming home unless you're in a body bag. So, Christians, you know your Father is God, right? And you know he's on your side. And you know that you got to be like Jesus. And you know that this world and the devil is going to tempt you to fall to their level. Okay, it's like Albert Einstein once said, don't argue with stupid people. They'll only drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Don't waste your time. You are better than the godless because your God and Father is Jesus Christ. You are better than people who are going to hell. Don't worry about, don't feel bad saying that, because it is a hard life for a Christian. It takes a very strong, not a weak, not a little pussy, a strong man or woman to carry their cross and to be radically different and opposite of everybody in this world. It takes a courageous, strong person to be a Christian in this day and age. So you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You're already doing it and they know it. You don't need to beat someone up and get even. God's going to handle it. You can turn the other cheek. It's hard. It's hard because, trust me, there are so many people whose noses I want to break. But I just say, you know what, Jesus? They're all yours, Lord. I'm out of here. Before I get in trouble, I'm pray for you. I'm going to pray for you because if I don't, I'm going to bust your teeth. I'm going to pray for you. And then I walk away. And they say, oh, yeah, see, you're a little pussy. Oh, God forgive my language, but, pussy as in little pussy cat, okay? You're a little pussy. You can't, you're afraid to fight me. No, you know what? You're not worth my time. And honestly, at 43 years old, with my broken neck and all, it's not even worth the risk. I'm not going to let myself get paralyzed, wasting my time and energy on you. You're not worth it. Because you'll walk away and enjoy the rest of your life, and I'll be stuck in a wheelchair. And not because you're all big and bad. It's because you picked on someone, again, who physically can't take care of themselves. Because I physically can't safely fight you anymore. That is the only upper hand you have. And because I know how this world works, and I'd be the one going to jail, not you, because the Bible even says, if you're a Christian, the world will turn against you. It is an unjust system. It takes care of its own. The wicked, evil, hell-bound, satanic people, the children of the devil, they take care of their own. They make sure that they stay rich, that they stay out of jail. It's the Christians who end up in court and end up in jail for life unjustly because they're Christian. And they just look for any reason to lynch us. Just because you're a Christian, they'll throw you in there and throw away the key. They look for reasons to incriminate and get us angry and to get us to sin against our God and to fall. And then not only do we ruin our life by lowering ourselves to your level, your godless level, but we end up losing our soul and burning right next to you in that lake of fire. No thank you. You ain't worth it. So the devil wants to keep getting me angry, and he's gotten me angry the past 2 days. And I'm sitting there, what is all this? I had peace when I left church. I was in a good mood. I didn't have any problems with anybody. I forgave everybody a long time ago. I'm feeling light as a feather. I'm feeling clean. I'm feeling sinless. I'm feeling good. He saw that. My light must have been shining so bright that every demon in the area came flying towards me, and started with the perverted thoughts and the desires and the anger and the swearing, and I almost broke my ankle in the stupid hole the dog dug in the yard, and it was one thing, listen, and now I'm making a video, and I'm you know what I'm doing? I'm being creative with my feelings and my anger, and I'm being honest. I'm making a good, heartfelt adult video here, not that kind of adult video, but you get my point. Because most of the people on my page are adults, so I'm just talking one adult to another, common sense, reality here. I'm talking real. Like, can we ever actually, in a world that's full of fake people and facades, can we ever just drop our guard and literally talk? Or do we have to have a few drinks in us first before we can actually literally talk about what's bothering us? Talk about important issues in life. I don't need alcohol to tell you. I got no censor. I have nothing to hide. On Judgment Day, you're all going to see everything I ever did anyway. So, you know what? I'm just getting it out now. I have nothing to hide. I got no reason to hide it. I got nothing to lose in life but my soul. My life is... I've been begging God to take my life because, honestly, I can't stand it down here anymore. I'll do it. I'll stay down here as long as I have to, as long as I'm working for the Lord. But if He comes back tomorrow, praise God. If I die tonight, praise God. I don't care. Because my life has been nothing but suffering and wickedness my whole life. Like, I'm sick of it down here. God gave us this beautiful world, but it is so polluted with ungodly people that are just have it out for us. People like me who are just looking to make the world a better, brighter place and help everybody I can, and I get trampled on and kicked on and falsely accused and just tormented. And then when people aren't tormenting me, I try to get a good night's sleep, and my dreams are tormented by demons. And then or things get thrown at me. Literally, you guys don't have any clue about spiritual warfare. You think that somebody's crazy when they're talking about ghosts and demons? They exist. And the closer you are to God, the more you know, the more influential you are down here, they will pull out the big guns and make themselves known to you. They don't even hide from people like me. Dark shadows coming at you, scratching you up, beating you up, sometimes in your sleep. That's happened to me many times. Being held down, you can't breathe, you got to yell Jesus before the thing comes off you. That's happened many times. The nightmares, the perversion, being raped in your sleep. I don't even want to get into it. You have no idea what you're up against. Most of you, if you're even Christian, you just go to church on Sunday and that's it, and you live like the rest of the world. You worry about your cars and your BMWs and your bling bling and your stupid rap music, and then you claim to be a Christian. You have no clue. You're still far off base. Would Jesus be driving around in Beamers and Mercedes, blasting rap music and showing off Rolexes and gold that he worked so hard for? No. So why are you doing it? Hello? Am I talking to anybody out there? Was he born in the Ritz-Carlton or Yale? No. Did he live in a mansion even though he's a king? No. He was born in a barn for a reason. So he set an example for the rest of us. It's kind of funny because I'm in like a affluent little hoity-toity little mansion right now, okay? But this ain't mine. And if God ever decided to bless me with it, that'd be great. But I'll wait till heaven. I don't need it right now. I got a trailer. It's not mine, but whatever. I got what I need to survive this life. But like I said, I'm trying to detach from everything so that when the Lord needs me to move or wants to take my life, I'm ready. I don't want anything holding me down or bringing me to hell. So I'm just trying to get by bare minimum. I gotta go put the laundry in the wash dryer here. So anyway, I'm just making this video because these thoughts just came to my mind, and I keep saying I'm not gonna make these videos anymore. But then it's like the Holy Spirit or whatever, I hope it's the Holy Spirit, gets a hold of me, and I just, things happen to me in life, real things, everyday life. That happens to everybody. Most people don't dare talk about it. Why not? What do we have to hide? I mean, seriously. Why not? I'm not saying anything that the average person doesn't have to deal with on a regular basis. This is life. And I'm telling you, it is not easy down here for anybody in this day and age. But if you're going to try to be a Christian, it will be harder. Make no doubt about it. God didn't promise you that you're going to be rolling in the dough and living in mansions and driving BMWs because you're blessed. No. He said, go and sell all your things and give it to the poor and follow me. Carry your cross. He didn't say carry a Rolex and diamond necklace and gold teeth and a BMW. He said, pick up your cross and follow me on the road of the cross. He didn't say get in your Mercedes and drive comfortably down the road of the cross. And maybe put a diamond cross on your car or some stupid fish symbol saying, I'm a Christian. Man, you guys have, Lord have mercy. They got no clue. No clue. And I'm just telling you, as somebody who's living it real, that a lot of you don't have clue, and you're Christians. Now, I'm not saying God don't bless some of us. He might somehow make my end somehow way better than my beginning. Maybe at 44, 45 all of a sudden, or maybe this year. Who knows? I don't see how it's possible at this point. Look, I'm just happy if I go to heaven. That's all I'm asking the Lord for. I'm like, listen, I don't need anything special down here. I just want to make sure I go to heaven. My life has been such a living hell. I just want to go to heaven when I'm dead. Can I please? That's all I'm asking. Now, if you want to give me nice things and a nice whatever career and prestige and whatever for your glory, fine. But I'm okay if I don't have much. You could give me a little trailer in the woods or a lot. I don't need much. I just want to go to heaven when this is over. And I'm almost there. I'm already 43. It's amazing my health issues haven't even killed me already. And by the way, folks, I have been very sick. I didn't say much, but for the past month, I have been extremely in a lot of pain and illness like you wouldn't understand. And they put me on thyroid meds and all these meds, and they are destroying my I have Crohn's and ulcerative colitis and diverticulitis all at the same time, and ulcers, and they put me on these meds. And so every time I take the meds, you got to take them on an empty stomach for about half hour, and then you got to eat with some of them. And imagine taking a mason jar, breaking it into shards of glass and swallowing it and feeling it work its way through your intestines, cutting and stabbing and slicing, and then coming out your rectum and anus like 1,000 knives. The pain makes me cry and keel over. And the bleeding and everything else, I'm not trying to be gross, but this is life for me every day. And I talked to the doctor's office today, and they said, you should have stopped the meds if they were I'm like, it started day one when you gave them to me. This is why I haven't been on these pharmaceuticals. I took myself off a year ago because I was getting so sick. and in pain, and I'm sick and nauseous, and my blood sugars are up and down, and I'm tired and dizzy and in pain and pooping blood, and like, are you kidding me? I gotta work, and I'm in work every day with tears in my eyes, or I'm standing in church trying to stand up, and I'm in such agony, and I can't let anybody know I'm in pain, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it, and then I gotta go to work all week, and then there's people sitting on welfare with gold teeth playing video games and drinking weed, smoking weed and drinking and all that stuff, and they just don't want to work. They got no health problems. But people like me, because I'm not the right color and whatever, I have to go to work every day, because otherwise I'll lose everything I do have, and I got to keep trekking and trekking and trekking, even though I can never sleep, and I could barely get out of bed or walk some days, and I got to smile, and I got to hide it, and then I come home and I make these long videos, if after work or even at work, for hours to try to minister to people, so that God can get His time, and pray, and all kinds of... I don't want to hear about suffering people. Some people have it way worse than me. Some people have it way worse than even me. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, I don't want to hear, oh, I can't be a Christian, it's too hard. Or, oh, I need to go on welfare, I can't work, I don't feel well. Oh, shut up. You have no idea the pain and suffering I have gone through already in my life. Not only emotionally and spiritually, but physically. Oh, you have no idea. It's like surviving cancer 7 times. The surgeries I've had, the accidents I've had, falls, boating accidents, breaking my neck and back, car accidents, multiple car accidents, being crushed in my car. My back has more screws and plates in it. The pain is immense, and then the ulcers and the stomach ulcers. And then having your family abandon you, knowing that you're a very sick person and that you can barely survive, and you're always working, but you never have enough money. And then they take the house from you and throw you on the streets, and cut you off and say you're dead to us. Go kill yourself and go live under a bridge. And it's like, what did I do to deserve that? And, that is very painful. That's worse than the pain in my body. You know what hurts worse than physical pain, heartache, loss, emotional pain? The kind of pain that comes when you really love someone so much that you would give your own life for them. In fact, when they're sick in the hospital, you're praying for them and you're begging Jesus, spare their life and take mine instead. Or give me the cancer so that they can live to see their grandchildren grow up. Please, Lord, they don't know you. They're not ready yet. Lord, take my life, not theirs. Spare my sister's life. Spare my stepmother's life. Spare my niece's life. And those same people that you literally begged God to spare their life, and they get healed, and they get an extension on their life, and then they throw you to the street and say, don't ever talk to us again, you're dead to us. Now maybe they don't know what you're doing behind their back with God for them, but that's just has nothing to do with it. The point is, the worst pain comes when you love someone so much that you worry sick about them. Every time you hear an ambulance, you pray and hope it's not your family member. That you miss them terribly. And then you know that they don't even know the Lord, and you want them saved, and you know that they're on their way to hell because they reject God and they don't pray and they don't go to church and they're living very unchristian lives. So you pray and pray and pray every day that they be converted and saved before it's too late. And then when they're on their deathbed, you're begging God, please don't take them. They're not ready for my sake. Don't take them. Take me. I'll die. I'll take. And then they turn around and stab you in the back and throw you to the street and tell you you deserve it. And all I did was go to seminary to try to be a priest. And my family was very against that and said, if you do this, don't ever come back. Then I go to seminary, and you think you can trust a bunch of priests and seminarians that you're home, that you're safe, that you're in a monastery with like-minded, God-loving and fearing people. And you see people getting raped in their rooms, and you see priests coming out 2 o'clock in the morning from your good-looking neighbor's room, and they start threatening your life, and you get kidnapped, and you get falsely accused, and they try to run you out of seminary, and then they tell you, God, would you stop jumping in on people? You know I'm on the phone. Why do you do that? One of these days, my hand is gonna just, because that's what happens. I punch first and ask questions later. I don't like people jumping out of the dark. I'm doing your laundry. That's what I'm doing. Hold on, people. Say hi. Say hi. Okay. So anyway, I'm making my video. I'm waiting for your stuff to dry. What do you need?
You miss Friends.
I don't want to watch Friends. We've seen it a million times and nothing but sin and debauchery. You watch all the secular nonsense. It's going to rot your brain. I don't like watching that stuff. I'm a Christian. I told you that. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you. It's not my favorite show. I said I like Jennifer Aniston, but then I found out she's a pervert pedophile who drinks blood, and I don't like her anymore. So that's the truth. But anyway, please don't jump out of the dark like that on me, because you're gonna give me a heart attack.
You're talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you. You keep doing that. You don't, why don't you turn the lights on in this haunted house?
Okay, Stevie boy.
You live in this big, spooky, dark house in the middle of the woods, and you're jumping out of the woods like that. You can get hurt. Man. Seriously. I almost punched him. That's all I need is to knock out my elderly client because he comes out of the dark. What are you doing? I'm like, and he knew what I was doing. He does that every night. Or I'll come out of the bathroom in the long, dark corridor, and he's right there. So as soon as I open, it's like his face, the pale, ghostly face in the pitch black. I'm like, and I almost hit him a couple times. I'm like, stop doing that. Because I don't run. I used to take karate, so it's just in me to automatically get into position, and I swing. I don't run. I fight or flight. And I always just get in my stance, and I've hit people before. Not intentional, but because they scared me. Don't sneak up on me. I will hit you. I mean, if you don't expect someone to be there and you're downstairs and you think that the guy's upstairs and you're down in this dark place and all of a sudden he comes out of the dark like that, it's not funny. Anyway, I was going to end this video anyway. Now that my blood pressure's through the roof, it scared me. I have been going through a lot lately, and I'm only making these videos because, you know, instead of just preaching the gospel, you know, because people are getting tired of hearing the same old, and I'm preaching to the choir. I figure, you know, a different tactic would be to just share life. Just talk about life, reality, with people. You know? I mean, I got time anyway. I'm sitting here doing laundry. I don't feel like watching this perverted shows, so I sit here and do the laundry. I was hoping to be out of here by 11, but stuff's still not done. Anyway, so that's it. What's the moral of the story? Life can either break you down or make you jaded and make you a cold-hearted, selfish, evil person like 90% of society, or you can, instead of becoming part of the problem and joining the wrong team, you can give it to the Lord. You can become a Christian. You can have Him teach you how to control yourself and your feelings and your emotions and your body and your sinful nature, and you can become like Christ, and you could start thus becoming part of the solution. You could either be more a light in this dark world, or you could be more darkness. That's your choice. I learned at a young age that I saw how much evil and suffering there was in the world at even a young age, and I saw the darkness, and I don't want to be part of it. And I always said as a young kid that if I could at least somehow alleviate the suffering a little bit, try to put a little bit of this broken world back together again, then that's what I would do. That's what I would do in my life. And that's what I've been trying to do. And I'm just me. And you know what? You would think that a lot more people would like me. Because, hey, what's not to like about somebody who thinks that way and who's got a heart of gold and who always is selfless and is always giving the shirt off his back to others, and who literally risks his life for other people. And I'm the kind of guy who jumps in front of a bullet or a car. I'm the kind of guy who jumps into a burning building for people. Or I became a lifeguard so I can save drowning people because I know what it's like to drown. I'm that kind of person, right? So you would think that, I mean, gosh, years ago, that would be a hero, right? But no. It would be okay if I was that kind of guy, but still a sinner like everybody else. Still on Satan's team. Ooh, cute guy, go to a bar, pick up this girl, that girl every day of the week, and blows his paycheck on alcohol and drugs, and, drives a Beamer, and listens to rap music, and yeah, he's worldly, or he's famous and successful, or what. That's what the world wants. And they like me at first, but then when they're like, oh, you're a Christian? Oh, a Catholic Christian? Oh, God, and that's it. That's all it takes. And then suddenly I'm from up here to down here. No respect. No one wants me around. They say, oh, you just take the fun out of everything. We don't invite you to our home or our party because we don't want to do our drugs and alcohol in front of you because we know how you feel about that. You don't sleep around. We have nothing in common. You're right. I realize that the Bible is true when it says, what business does light have with darkness? I'm a child of God, child of the light. And that wasn't easy to do. And if you don't have the light in you, if you don't have Christ, if you're not a Christian, you're a child of darkness. I don't care what you think. That's what the Bible says. God says you're either on his team or you're against him. You're either with him or you're his enemy. You're either with him or you're at enmity with him. And so I'm on Team Jesus. Most of you are on Team Satan by default. Not like you believe in Satan or you wanted to be on his team. Some of you are atheists. You don't believe in nothing. But I'm telling you what God says and what his word says, that if you're either with him or you're against him, you're either on Team Jesus or you're Team Satan by default. Well, I didn't make a choice either way. Well, then by default, the Bible says, even if you don't make a choice, by default, if you're not with Jesus, you're on Satan's team. You're not protected by the Lord as much. You are prey for the devil. You are under his control, whether you realize it or not. And so I'm telling you, it doesn't pay. You might think that you have everything now. Nobody bothers you. The devil ain't attacking you at night. You can go to sleep. You're not afraid of the dark. You're fine. You don't have ghosts and demons after you. You don't have a lot of enemies in life. Nobody's kidnapped you, raped or molested you, or date raped you and drugged you up. Nobody's vandalized your car or your home. You've never been in poverty or homeless on the street. Your families haven't rejected you and thrown you to the street and said, go kill yourself. You people haven't gone through what I have. And I don't know how I'm alive other than God's grace. Honestly. I could not have survived these 43 years without God's grace. Plane crashes, train derailments, boating accidents, hurricanes on cruise ships rolling over. I'm not making it up. Amusement park rides with bungee ropes where the rope snaps and I'm literally falling out of my harness. And there's nothing anybody could do about it. And there's the cement and I make it. Stuff like that. Okay? 9 lives or God's grace? I'd say God's grace. I don't want to push it because one of these days he's going to call me home. And I really hope it's not in a terrible way. So I'm trying to always be ready and trying to stay out of sin. But I already got to go back to confession as soon as possible because it's only been a day after Divine Mercy Sunday, which I prepared for 9 days in advance by doing chaplets and prayers and all kinds of stuff so I can really get the graces. And the devil started working on me before I even left church property. And this is what he does. And so you got to be on guard and realize where it's coming from. And once you do, you got to grab your Bible and start praying. Psalms, prayers, you cry out to Jesus because otherwise you will fall. And if you do fall by accident, get right back up, apologize to the Lord, get to confession again, and keep on moving. Do not stay down because it ain't over unless you stay down. You have to keep getting back up. The fight is only going to get worse. People, the mark of the beast system's already here. It's being implemented. Many of you are going to be told that if you don't stick a microchip or whatever in your hand or forehead, you're not going to be able to access your bank accounts anymore. And everything you work so hard for, which is why the Bible says, don't store up treasure down here, but store up treasure in heaven. Don't get attached to things, people, places, things, money, comfort, luxury, mansions, nice cars, because when it comes time to make a choice, live or die, you're going to want to live to enjoy those things. When it comes time to make a choice, Jesus or the devil, you're going to choose the devil so that you can keep all those things, or so that you don't have to have a terrible death. I knew that they were going to have guillotines and stuff again for Christians in the end, and firing squads and all that, but now they've come up with a real sadistic device. Look it up yourself if you don't believe me. A robotic decapitation machine. Now, the guillotine is good enough. Nice, clean cut. Firing squad does the trick. That hurts, but it does the trick. But oh no, these sick, satanic children, they've devised a machine, a robot, that plays white noise for the prisoner. Right now they're using it on death sentence inmates on death row. And you lay back in a chair, and these two robotic arms grab your head and rip it off your body, while these other two mechanical arms hold your chest down. They hold your body down in place and rip your head off. Do you have any idea how painful it is to have your head ripped off your body? And they say, oh, it's the quickest, most humane way to kill people. That is not humane. I'd rather have my head cut off by a steak knife than have it just ripped off my body by two arms. That's sick. It takes an incredible amount of force, which is why they're using a robot, to rip a man's head off of his shoulders. Why can't, if you're going to cut the person's head off, it would be quicker and a lot less painful to use a nice sharp guillotine. Quick, one chop, it's done. Hurts like crazy, but it's a nice clean cut. But if you're going to sit there and make the guy know it's coming, and sit there and wait for his head to be ripped off of his body, that's disgusting and evil. That is a contraption from hell itself. Do you not see how evil this world is becoming? How disgusting? It's like, they're not happy unless it's painful. They find ways to torture and rape people that are the most painful. This is not human. Humans should not be thinking these things up and doing this. A guillotine, a noose, lethal injection, firing squad. These things are fine. Cyanide. Now you got to rip someone's head off? They're doing it for a reason. Just like the Romans and all these other wicked empires did. They want to scare the person. The fear of death is a lot worse than the death itself. So they want to make this thing, they want the person to realize, oh boy, I'm being condemned to death. It's going to be a long, painful, suffering death. And they want you to know about that night and day until the day comes. And so you're literally pooping your pants and peeing yourself and screaming bloody murder before they put you in that chair. And then you got to feel, after the adrenaline and the fear of what's coming, then they actually do that to you. Like, how sick and unhuman, how evil, satanic, diabolical, heartless can you be? Why do you think they're coming up with these machines? Because the Antichrist is alive and well down here. Satan in human flesh. Just like Jesus walked the earth in human flesh. And he wants the Christians to be very afraid of rejecting the mark, of being Christian, of being arrested, of preaching the gospel, because their fate will be as terrible as being fed to hungry lions or thrown into a 7-fold heated furnace. They're not going to make, oh, you're a Christian? Okay, just step into the guillotine. We'll just quickly lob your head off then. No. Or maybe we'll crucify you. No. They're going to try to make it torturous. They're going to torture and scare you to try to get you to... Because remember, people, they don't want you alive anyway, especially if you're a Christian. They don't care about your life. They want you dead, and they will kill you eventually. But it's not your life that they're after. It's your soul. When you're going to wake up and realize it's your human soul, your eternal soul that they want. Not just your body. They can just shoot you in the head and get rid of you. But they want your soul. And the only way they can get your eternal soul is if you reject Jesus Christ. You do that, and you're lost to the fires of hell, and that's what they want. They might even tell you, just reject him, and we'll spare your life. Or just take the mark, which the Bible says if you accept that mark of the beast to buy, sell, or trade, you won't be able to buy, sell, trade, or own anything if you don't have that mark. You'll starve to death. You'll be stuck on the street. You won't have a home. You won't have a way to feed yourself. You won't get medical care. They'll take everything you own if you don't take the mark, the microchip implant. So they can control where you are and know where you are at all times and control your thoughts, your health, your finances, everything. You will be a slave and you'll be chipped like an animal. And if you say no, because the Bible warns Christians, if you do that, you're condemned to hell. It's unforgivable. Because God said, I want you to die for me if that's what it takes. If you're not willing to die for me like I died on the cross for you, you're not worthy of heaven. So the true test is reject the mark for Christ and die a martyr's death for Christ. Then you can you'll go to heaven. But if you do not die for Christ, if you do not accept that, if you accept that mark instead of dying for Christ, if they say take this mark or die, or reject Jesus Christ or die, then if you reject Christ, you lose your soul. You go to hell. Even if you save your life, you'll lose your eternal soul. When you do die, you'll be burned in hell. It's unforgivable. And another way to trick people into rebelling and rejecting Jesus Christ is depending on their ignorance. Just like with the jab, they got everybody ignorantly scared and they went and got the jab before they had a chance. And then those who wouldn't take the jab willingly, they said, you'll lose your job and you'll lose this and whatever if you don't take the jab. So they were forced into taking the jab just to realize that, I fell for it. Well, guess what? That was a precursor, a test run for the mark. Now they're going to say, take this microchip implant. It's easy. We're going to a cashless federal now society. And a lot of people who don't know the Bible or don't believe in it are not going to know that it's the Antichrist beast system. And they're going to say, ooh, it makes it so easy now. I don't even need to carry a wallet or an ID. It's all in my hand now. So no more wallet, no more pocketbook, no more cash, nothing. It's all right in my hand. Here, sign me up. I'll do it. And they receive the mark of the beast ignorantly and willingly. Then there'll be others, even Christians, who, okay, take this chip, this mark. Do the FedNow system. Otherwise, we will take your home, everything you own, all your money will be taken. You will have nothing. You'll be on the street. You'll probably be put in a concentration camp. Okay? Or you'll starve to death and die, or you'll be a martyr. You'll be tortured and killed. So people are going to take it because they don't want to die. They don't want to starve to death. They don't want to lose everything. They don't want their family to suffer and die. So they'll take it and encourage their family, their children. I love how parents make their kids get vaxxed first nowadays, huh? Well, they're going to be putting their kids to get the mark first. Sick. You won't even die for your own kids? Sick. You're sick. You kill your kids, and you sell them to sex trafficking, and all these other terrible things. You abuse your kids, you abort them, but you won't die for them. Sick. You're not a good parent. You're a pervert. You're disgusting. You're a pussy. But anyway, so the real Christians, those whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life, they will not be fooled into taking the mark, and they will not accept the mark. They will accept death and torture and death before they take that mark. And so the Antichrist New World Order, the satanic elite psychopaths from hell, they know this. So even if they're going to lose a Christian soul to heaven, they're going to make the Christian suffer as much as they can in hopes that the Christian, through pain of death, will renounce Christ or take the mark. Then they got their soul. But if the Christian should die during torture or die and say, no, I'm not taking it no matter what, well, at least they had fun really making the Christians' last days on earth very painful. Because they're sadistic. They're sick. Satan wants to torture humans at any cost, especially Christians, as much as possible. And if he can't torture you in the fires of hell for all eternity and have his demons ripping you apart 24/7, then he wants to be able to do that as much as he can while you're on the earth at least. He wants to get his jabs in, the last word, the final blow, at least one swing in before he loses you forever. That's how he is. And we have to turn the other cheek and say, okay, do your worst. Otherwise, we go to hell. It's not easy being a Christian. Now, do you see why so many people hate us? They hate us because we're courageous enough to do it. And they're not. They might be all manly men and they like to slap their wives around and drink and watch pornography and do drugs. You know, yeah, I'm enjoying my life. Yeah, I'm a blue-collar worker. Work hard, play hard. But when it comes to being a Christian, nothing but a little pussy. I don't want to die. I can't do it. Okay. So the little meek, little humble Steve over here, who's sickly, has no money, no wife, no nothing, family who hates him, doesn't have anything you have, he can do it. But not you. Ooh, I bet I thought you were a big tough guy. Or girl. Or lesbian. Whatever you are. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, you won't have my back because you don't have Jesus' back. And you won't even have your own family's back. You will buckle and cry like a little girl and you'll take that mark just so that you can save your little life and try to live a little bit longer because you know you're going to hell afterwards and keep your home and keep everything and keep on drinking and having fun. That's what you'll do. You'll be one of the first people to line up, and then you'll put some stupid Facebook thing up on some stupid frame around your profile picture saying, I got chipped, I got microchipped, I'm one of the first people to get the mark of the beast. You need to do it too. Everybody needs to be microchipped. Everyone needs to go into a cashless society. If not, you're the problem. You're killing everybody. You're a bad person. You're a Christian. And that's how they turn against Christians. We were the scourge. It's kind of funny because as a Christian, during the beginning of the pandemic, I was on the front lines working with COVID patients and I never got it. And I didn't get vaxxed and I never got it. Okay? And I was risking my life to save people's lives on the front lines. And I was hailed as a hero. And McDonald's gave us free food. But then the vaccines come out and I wouldn't take it. And all of a sudden I was the scum of the earth. I went from hero status to you're the problem. You're spreading the disease. You're what's wrong with society. You're a bad person because you're a Christian. That's what I got. That's what I got for not taking your stupid vaccine. And now when the mark of the beast comes out, you're all going to say, you Christians need to take this mark with us. No, we're not going to hell with you. That's your choice. Your body, your choice, right? Well, now, hey, same thing. My body, my choice. I don't want your satanic chip in my body. I'd rather go to heaven than burn in hell. And so that is my choice. And so we're going to be the scourge of the earth, the bad ones. We're going to be the problem with society holding up progress. You see how this is? Learn from 2020, people, because history repeats itself, and it's about to again. And the machines are already here. Everything is ready to go for this mark of the beast. They're going to do the same thing. Mark my words, and I got to end this video, and I've got proof already posted. They've got the machines and ATMs and gas pumps all ready to swipe your hand. They have a new thing called Fed Now. They're going to take our cash, and they're going to make you get a cashless society. You're not going to be able to take your money out of the bank anymore. You're going to have to use a card for everything. You're going to have to start by swiping your card. Then an ID, a digital ID. Then it's going to go into your hand or forehead. And if you don't do it, you're cut out of you won't be able to buy or sell or pay your bills or have anything. You'll be rounded up. This time, it won't be just losing a job because you didn't get a vax. It's going to be you're going to lose everything because you didn't take the mark. The vaccine was a trial to see how many people would actually first willingly line up and take the vax to save their own life, and then who they can scare into taking it to save their job and their homes, and then the rest of them who still stuck it out, the purebloods like me who refused and would rather die than take it. And now they know who's going to be a problem second run. It's going to be people like me we didn't take the vax, we're certainly not going to take that mark. We already see it coming. We've been warning for 20 years. And so they already know. And so they're already trying to scare us now with the threats and these new devices they created that rip people's heads off. It's a guillotine, but it's ripping the person's head off instead of using a guillotine by a robotic arm. Look it up, people. So this is to scare you into submission. So again, this is why God said, if you don't take the mark, if you don't give up your life, you will lose it. If you don't give up your life to have eternal life, you'll lose your eternal life. And so that's why. And that's why the Bible says, do not love anybody more than God, and do not love anyone or anything or money or houses or pleasure, because and why it's easier for a rich man to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to ever enter the kingdom. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And this is why. Because the more you have down here, the more you want to hold on to it and enjoy your life. You don't want to lay your life down to get to heaven. When it comes time to pay the price like Jesus did, you won't do it. You'll think of every excuse not to do it. Your family, your friends, your job, your house, your money, whatever, your comfort, your luxury, you're scared, you don't believe, whatever. God don't care. No excuse, people. So you better get ready now. If you're not a Christian by now, I don't know what to tell you, because I fear for you, because you're running out of time. It took me 43 years to get where I am with the Lord. Some of you don't even know him at all. You have a long way to go in such a little time. You better pray for a miracle, because I'm telling you, I've already lost everything for the Lord. Everything but my life. A lot of you have so much to lose. You don't even want to be uncomfortable for 1 minute. You can't even fast. You won't even go to church for an hour. You're not going to lay your life down to save it. You're not going to lay your life down for Jesus so you can go to heaven. You're going to go and take that stupid mark just like you took the vax and everything else, just to save your stuff, your money, your house, your everything. Think about that. And then don't ask God why he's sending you to hell on Judgment Day, because you've been warned. Heaven's for the courageous, not for the weak, and not for the worldly.